Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something. Consistency is the key. You want to be great? You want to be successful? You want to unlock your potential? Well, let me break it down for you. It ain't about luck. It ain't about talent. It's about what you do every single day. See, a lot of folks out here waiting for the right moment. They waiting on some big breakthrough, some lucky break. Let me help you out. You don't need luck, you need consistency. Success isn't about luck. It's not about waking up one day and suddenly having everything you've ever wanted. It's about what you do consistently, day in and day out. A lot of people have big dreams, big plans, and big ideas, but the difference between those who make it and those who don't isn't talent. It's not intelligence. It's not even opportunity. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone start something with passion, energy, and excitement, only to give up when it got hard? Maybe they went to the gym for a week, didn't see results, and quit. Maybe they started a business, faced a setback, and gave up. Maybe they tried to develop a new skill, but when they didn't master it overnight, they walked away. That's the problem right there. Most people aren't consistent enough to see the results they want. The truth is, success isn't about going all in for a short time and burning out. It's about showing up, putting in the work, and doing it over and over again, even when you don't see immediate results. The people who achieve great things aren't necessarily the best, the smartest, or the most gifted. They're the ones who keep showing up, who stay committed, and who push forward even when it's tough. Look at any successful person and you'll see a pattern. They weren't made overnight. Athletes train for years before they win championships. Entrepreneurs go through failure after failure before they build a thriving business. Musicians practice daily for decades before they get recognized. None of them got where they are by working hard for a short time and then stopping. They committed to the process and stayed consistent no matter what. But here's the challenge. Consistency is boring. It's not flashy. It's not exciting. It doesn't always feel rewarding in the moment. That's why so many people struggle with it. They want quick results, and when they don't see progress fast enough, they get frustrated and quit. But what they don't realize is that every small step, every little action is building up. It's like planting a seed. You don't see it sprout right away, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Growth is happening beneath the surface. The key is to trust the process. You have to keep showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, even when it seems like nothing is changing. Because the truth is, consistency always pays off. It just doesn't happen on your timeline. Most people give up right before the breakthrough. They stop when they're inches away from success. They let frustration, doubt, and impatience get in the way. Think about this. If you're trying to break a rock with a hammer, you might hit it 99 times and it looks like nothing is happening. But on the 100th hit, that rock shatters. Was it that last hit that did it? No, it was all 100 hits combined. That's how consistency works. Every action you take, every time you show up, you're adding pressure, you're moving forward. And one day, everything you've been working for will break open. Everything you do on a daily basis is shaping your future, whether you realize it or not. Success isn't built on big, dramatic moments. It's built on the small, seemingly insignificant choices you make every single day. The way you spend your time, the habits you develop, and the routines you follow all add up over time to create the life you end up living. A lot of people think success is about talent or opportunity, but the truth is, it's about habits. What you repeatedly do matters far more than what you do occasionally. You don't become fit because you worked out for 3 hours one day. You get fit because you committed to exercising consistently. You don't become wealthy because you made one good financial decision. You build wealth through smart financial habits practiced over time. You don't become an expert in your field because you studied hard for a week. You gain expertise by learning and applying knowledge consistently. Most people underestimate the power of small habits because they don't see immediate results. If you eat a salad today, you won't instantly lose weight. If you read one chapter of a book, you won't suddenly become an expert. If you save a few dollars, you won't become rich overnight. That's why so many people quit before they ever see progress. They think their small actions aren't making a difference, but what they don't realize is that every small choice is compounding over time. Success works the same way as failure. It happens little by little. Just like small good habits add up to success, small bad habits add up to failure. Skipping the gym once doesn't make a difference, but skipping it regularly does. Spending a little extra money today doesn't seem like a big deal, but overspending consistently leads to financial stress. Ignoring learning opportunities may not hurt you immediately, but over time, it keeps you from growing. It's easy to overlook the power of small habits because they don't feel important in the moment. But every choice you make is either moving you closer to your goals or further away from them. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't isn't that successful people do massive, extraordinary things. It's that they stay committed to the small things that create results over time. Think about a drop of water hitting a rock. One drop won't make a difference. Even 10 drops won't do much. But over time, thousands of drops will shape that rock. The same principle applies to life. The small actions you take every day are shaping your future, whether you realize it or not. The challenge is that we live in a world that celebrates instant results. We see highlight reels of people's success stories, but we don't see the years of hard work, discipline, and small daily efforts that made it possible. Because of this, people become impatient. They want success now, and when they don't see immediate progress, they give up. The key is to shift your focus from short-term results to long-term habits. Stop worrying about when you'll see success and start focusing on becoming the kind of person who deserves success. When you commit to the right habits, success becomes inevitable. Showing up when you feel motivated is easy. When you're excited, inspired, and full of energy, putting in the work doesn't feel like a challenge. But what separates the successful from everyone else is what happens when the excitement fades, when motivation runs out, and when you just don't feel like doing it. That's where discipline comes in. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days you wake up feeling unstoppable, ready to take on the world. Other days you don't even want to get out of bed. If you rely on motivation alone, you'll only be consistent when you feel like it, and that's not enough to achieve anything great. The people who succeed are the ones who push through even when they don't feel like it. Think about a professional athlete. They don't wake up every morning excited to train. There are days when they feel tired, unmotivated, and even discouraged, but they still show up. They still put in the work, and they still push themselves because they understand that progress comes from discipline, not feelings. The same principle applies to anything in life. If you only work hard on the days you feel good, you're not building a habit, you're feeding a mood. Success doesn't care about your feelings. The work has to get done regardless of how you feel. Some of the most important days in your journey will be the ones when you had every excuse to quit, but chose to keep going anyway. Those are the moments that build character. Those are the moments that separate you from the crowd. When you don't feel like doing something, your mind will find every reason to justify skipping it. You'll tell yourself that you're too tired, too busy, or that one day off won't make a difference. But every time you listen to that voice, you make it stronger. Every time you give in, you train yourself to quit when things get hard. But when you push through, even when you don't feel like it, you build mental toughness. You prove to yourself that you're stronger than your excuses. The hardest part is always getting started. Once you push past that initial resistance, it gets easier. You might not feel like going to the gym, but once you start your workout, you get into it. You might not feel like working on your goals, but once you take that first step, momentum kicks in. The key is to not let your feelings control your actions. Your goals deserve more than just your best days. It's important to set a standard for yourself that isn't based on emotions. Make a commitment that no matter how you feel, you're going to show up. Success is built on consistency, not convenience. If you only do the work when you feel good, you'll never reach your full potential. But when you learn to push through the days when you're tired, uninspired, or frustrated, that's when you develop the resilience that leads to success. Everything worthwhile takes time. The problem is, most people want results now. They want success, but they don't want to go through the process. They want the rewards without the effort. And when they don't see progress fast enough, they start doubting themselves, they get frustrated, and too often, they give up before they even give themselves a real chance to succeed. The reality is, everything good in life is a process. Growth doesn't happen overnight. Success doesn't come from a single action. It comes from consistent effort over time. But we live in a world where people expect instant results. They want to lose weight in a week, build a business in a month, or master a skill in no time. And when they don't see immediate progress, they assume it's not working. Think about nature. When a tree is planted, it doesn't grow to its full height in a day. It takes time. It needs water, sunlight, and care. At first, you don't see much happening. But underground, the roots are growing, getting stronger, preparing for what's coming. That's exactly how progress works. Just because you don't see instant results doesn't mean you're not growing. One of the biggest reasons people fail is because they don't trust the process. They want proof that their efforts are paying off, and when they don't see it fast enough, they assume it's not working. But the truth is, most progress happens beneath the surface before you ever see the results. The work you put in today might not pay off for months or even years, but that doesn't mean it's not adding up. Every time you show up, every time you put in effort, you're building something, even if you can't see it yet. A person who works out for a week and doesn't see a six-pack might feel like nothing is changing, but inside, their muscles are getting stronger, their endurance is improving, and their body is adapting. The same applies to business, relationships, learning, and any other area of life. Small, consistent actions lead to big results, but only if you stick with them long enough to see the outcome. The challenge is that most people quit too soon. They plant the seed, water it for a little while, and when they don't see instant growth, they walk away. What they don't realize is that if they had just kept going a little longer, they would have seen the breakthrough. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent, intelligence, or luck. It's persistence. You have to be patient enough to let the process work. You can't rush greatness. You can't cheat the grind. Every successful person has one thing in common. They didn't quit when things got hard. They kept going even when it looked like nothing was happening. Because deep down, they understood that results take time, and as long as they kept showing up, their time would come. Most people focus too much on the outcome. They dream about the success, the money, the recognition, and the rewards, but they overlook the most important part, the process. Everyone wants the prize, but very few are willing to go through the grind that it takes to earn it. The truth is, if you're too obsessed with the result, you'll never last long enough to get there. Success is not about one big moment. It's not about a lucky break or a single opportunity that changes everything. It's about the work you put in every single day. The process is where you grow, where you develop your skills, where you gain the experience that makes success possible. Without the process, the outcome doesn't mean anything. Think about the greatest athletes in the world. They don't just wake up and win championships. They spend years training, practicing, and perfecting their craft. They show up every day even when they don't feel like it. They embrace the long hours, the pain, and the struggle because they understand that the process is what makes them great. They don't just love winning, they love the work that goes into winning. Most people struggle because they only want the reward. They start something new, and when they don't see immediate success, they lose interest. They look at the process as something they have to endure, something they need to get through as quickly as possible. But that mindset is exactly why they never reach their full potential. You can't rush the process. You have to respect it, embrace it, and commit to it. The process teaches you discipline. It forces you to develop patience, resilience, and mental toughness. It humbles you when you think you know everything and strengthens you when things don't go your way. Every setback, every failure, every challenge is part of the journey. If you try to skip the process, you're skipping the lessons that prepare you for success. One of the biggest mistakes people make is setting a goal, working towards it for a little while, and then getting frustrated when they don't see immediate results. They start doubting themselves, they wonder if they're wasting their time, and eventually they give up. Not because they weren't capable, but because they were too focused on the outcome and didn't appreciate the journey. If you only care about the reward, you'll never be consistent enough to achieve it. You have to learn to love the work itself. You have to find joy in the progress, even when it's slow. You have to commit to the process, not just the result. When you do that, something amazing happens. You stop worrying about how long it's taking and you start improving every single day. The people who succeed aren't the ones who chase quick wins. They're the ones who show up, put in the work, and trust that the results will come. They don't complain about how long it's taking because they know the process is what makes them great. Success is not about who has the most talent, the best connections, or the most opportunities. It's not about who starts the fastest or who looks the best on paper. The real difference between those who win and those who don't comes down to consistency. The people who keep showing up, keep putting in the work, and keep improving, even when no one is watching, are the ones who rise to the top. Most people assume that talent is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. But talent alone is never enough. Plenty of talented people never reach their potential because they don't have the discipline to be consistent. They work hard for a little while, but the moment things get tough, they slow down or quit. On the other hand, there are people who may not be naturally gifted, but have an unshakable work ethic. They put in the hours, they stay committed, and over time, they pass up the people who started with more talent. The truth is, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. But even hard work has to be done consistently to make a difference. It's not about giving 100% effort one day and then taking the next few days off. It's about pushing forward every single day, even when progress feels slow, even when motivation fades, and even when results aren't showing up yet. That's what separates the great from the average. The most successful people in any field understand that showing up daily is more important than having perfect conditions. They don't wait for inspiration. They don't wait for the perfect timing. They don't let temporary setbacks define their future. They understand that the key to mastery is repetition. The more you do something, the better you get at it. The more consistent you are, the more you separate yourself from the people who only work when they feel like it. One of the biggest reasons people fail is because they stop too soon. They expect quick results, and when they don't get them, they assume they're not good enough, not smart enough, or not lucky enough. But success is never about being the best right away. It's about being better than you were yesterday. It's about learning, adjusting, and continuing to move forward. Most people don't lack ability, they lack persistence. They give up long before they've given themselves a real chance to succeed. The people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who always have the most natural ability. They're the ones who are willing to outlast everyone else. They show up when others quit. They do the work when others make excuses. They push forward even when they don't feel like it. Over time, that consistency adds up. It turns into skills, knowledge, experience, and confidence. It's easy to admire someone's success without realizing how much unseen effort went into it. The hours of practice, the sacrifices, the failures, and the struggles, all of it was built on consistency. The world doesn't reward those who start the fastest. It rewards those who stay the longest. The ones who refuse to quit, who keep showing up, and who keep improving. Those are the people who reach their full potential.